Emily Carter had always lived a quiet, uneventful life in a small town where nothing truly strange ever happened. She worked as a librarian, followed the same daily routine, and found comfort in predictability. But on the morning of September 18th, everything changed. It started like any other day. She brewed her usual cup of coffee, checked her emails, and decided to go for a morning walk before heading to work. The crisp autumn air was refreshing, and she let herself relax as she strolled through the neighborhood. Her usual route took her through the town park, but on that day, something felt different. For the first time, she noticed an old iron-gated cemetery she had never paid attention to before. The gate was slightly open, its hinges rusted from years of neglect. Curiosity tugged at her, urging her to take a closer look. As she walked through the rows of aged tombstones, she noticed the names, some from centuries ago, others more recent. The silence of the place was almost suffocating, but she kept walking, unable to shake the eerie feeling creeping up her spine. Then she saw it. A newer tombstone stood apart from the rest, its polished surface gleaming under the morning light. Something about it felt wrong. Her heart pounded in her chest as she stepped closer, and then she froze. Her name was carved into the stone. Emily Carter, born 1991, died September 18, 2023. Her breath caught in her throat. Today's date. Her mind raced for an explanation. Maybe it was a cruel joke. Maybe someone with the same name had passed away. But as she reached out, tracing the letters with her fingertips, the stone was cold. Real. Then, the ground shifted. A wave of nausea rolled over her. Had she imagined it? Was her mind playing tricks on her? But no. The loose dirt atop the grave shifted again. Something beneath the soil was moving. A deep chill ran down her spine. Every instinct in her body screamed at her to run, but she stood frozen, unable to look away. The wind howled through the trees, carrying whispers she couldn't quite make out. And then a hand burst through the soil. Emily staggered back, her mind unable to process what she was seeing. The fingers twitched, clawing at the air. She wanted to scream, but the sound caught in her throat. Then the dirt trembled again. More movement. Whatever was beneath the surface was trying to get out. She turned and ran. She didn't stop until she was out of the cemetery, sprinting down the street like a madwoman. Her pulse pounded in her ears, and she didn't look back. By the time she reached home, she locked the door behind her and collapsed onto the floor, gasping for breath. She kept telling herself it wasn't real. It couldn't be real. Maybe she had imagined it. Maybe it was just a sick prank. But then the phone rang. Her hands trembled as she picked it up. The number was unknown. Against her better judgment, she answered. A voice, her own voice, whispered on the other end. "Don't go back." Emily dropped the phone. Her entire body shook. That voice had been her exact voice. She grabbed her keys, determined to drive to the police station, but as she stepped outside, she stopped cold. Across the street, a woman stood watching her. She wore the same jeans, the same red jacket, the same face. Emily Carter was staring at herself. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then the other Emily smiled, a slow, unnatural grin that sent a wave of terror through her, and then she disappeared. Emily blinked. She was gone. That night she barely slept. Every noise in the house made her jump. Every shadow felt like it was watching her. She convinced herself it was exhaustion, that her mind was playing tricks on her. But the next morning, the newspaper headline shattered that illusion. Local woman found dead near cemetery. Identified as Emily Carter. Her hands trembled as she read the name. Her name. The photo beside it was unmistakable. It was her. Emily Carter was still alive, wasn't she? Could this have been a time slip? A supernatural warning? Or had something else taken her place? Now it's your turn. What do you think happened to Emily Carter? Drop your theory in the comments.